Do you feel that? That urge to just grab a set of keys, roll down the windows, and drive? Well, getting your learner's permit in Virginia is the very first, absolutely critical step to making that dream of independence a reality. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to lay out your exact step-by-step roadmap to unlocking your driving freedom in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Look, I know that staring down a list of government requirements and DMV checklists can feel, well, a bit overwhelming. But ask yourself, are you ready to unlock the freedom of the open road? Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. This permit, it isn't just a piece of plastic. It is your ultimate key to independence, new career opportunities, and honestly, a whole new chapter of your life.
Getting this Virginia Learner's Permit is really your first major milestone on what I like to call the hero's quest to a full driver's license. And while the DMV process can for sure feel like a trial, with all its paperwork, fees, and exams, I promise you it's actually a highly logical step-by-step journey. It's like a giant puzzle, and we are going to conquer it together right now.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here are the 5 clear milestones we're going to hit today. Eligibility and first steps, gathering documents and fees, preparing for the exam, using your permit safely, and finally, moving toward full licensure.
Starting off with Section 1, eligibility and first steps, basically knowing exactly when you can start the engine.
So, the state of Virginia is strictly precise about this specific number, 15.5. 15 and a half years old is the absolute minimum age to apply for a learner's permit. And guys, there are absolutely 0 exceptions to this age requirement. None. So if you're a teen watching this, you better mark that half-birthday on your calendar.
Beyond your age, there are just a few core eligibility criteria. First, you've got to be a resident of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Now, if you're under 18, you're going to need a parent or legal guardian's written consent signed right there on your application. But if you happen to be an emancipated minor, just bring your official court order instead of a parent. Oh, and importantly, non-U.S. citizens might actually qualify for a driver privilege card, which operates with similar testing rules but just has some unique document requirements. All right, moving on to Section 2, gathering documents and fees. It is time to conquer the paperwork guardian. Listen, bringing the correct administrative documents is literally half the battle here. If you show up unprepared, they will turn you away at the counter, and let's be real, nobody wants to wait in a DMV line twice. So, just follow these 3 actionable steps flawlessly. Step 1, complete your application. You can actually save a ton of time by filling out Form DL1P online before your visit, or you can just do it on paper. Step 2 is providing proof. You're going to need 1 proof of identity, 1 proof of legal presence, your social security number if you have one, and, this is crucial, 2 separate proofs of Virginia residency. Finally, Step 3 is just paying the applicable fees.
Speaking of fees, here's the exact cost breakdown you need to prepare for. Now, the base permit fee itself is always just $3, but your total cost is going to vary based on the credential type and the annual cost of the license itself. So a standard permit totals $35. If you opt for the Real ID compliant permit, which, by the way, allows you to board domestic flights and has a $10 surcharge, that comes to $45 total. And the driver privilege card option totals $53.
Which brings us to Section 3, preparing for the exam, passing the trials of knowledge and vision.
Let's contrast the 2 tests you actually have to take. First up, the vision screening. It's super straightforward. It's not a full medical exam, but you do need 20/40 visual acuity and 110 degrees of horizontal vision. If you only have 20/70 acuity, don't panic, you can still get a daylight-only restriction. Now, the knowledge exam is a 2-part computerized test covering traffic signs, motor vehicle laws, and safe driving. You are absolutely going to want to study the Virginia Driver's Manual and take advantage of the free online practice tests to build up your confidence. And hey, here's a massive, actionable tip for you. If you are walking into the DMV without an appointment, you must arrive by 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday or 11:30 a.m. on Saturdays. Otherwise, they simply will not let you test. You'll literally be locked out, so manage your time accordingly.
Of course, a very common, anxiety-inducing question that crosses almost every single new driver's mind is this. So, what happens if I just don't pass? Look, it is perfectly normal to be nervous, and plenty of experienced drivers out on the road today will tell you they didn't pass on their very first try either. I really want to reassure you that a failure here is just a speed bump, not a roadblock. You can absolutely retake the exam, but you really need to beware of the Virginia 3 failures rule. If you fail 3 times, the stakes get much higher. At that point, you must successfully complete the classroom component of a state-approved driver's education course before you can even try for a 4th time. And listen closely to this, because people mix this up. Classes taken at a driver improvement clinic do not meet this requirement. Luckily, certain Virginia community colleges do now offer courses specifically designed for three-time failers. So honestly, use those online practice exams ahead of time, stay calm, and try to save yourself all that extra coursework.
All right, moving into Section 4, using your permit safely. Navigating the open road, but with supervision.
So, once that piece of plastic is finally printed and in your hands, you might feel like you have total freedom. But remember, there are strict rules of the road. First and foremost, you cannot drive alone. A licensed driver must supervise you. Now, there is one highly specific exception to this rule. You may drive alone only if you hold a valid Virginia Driver Training Certificate, which is known as a DTSB, signed by your parent, and you are at least 16 years and 3 months old, and you have already held the permit for 9 months. It's a pretty high bar. Otherwise, you absolutely need a co-pilot. Also, it's good to know that a standard permit is actually valid for up to 8 years, and it expires on your birthday, which gives you plenty of time to practice.
And that brings us to a massive requirement for teen drivers. 9. If you are under 18 years old, you must hold your learner's permit for a minimum of 9 solid months before you are eligible to receive a full driver's license. No shortcuts, no exceptions whatsoever.
Finally, Section 5, moving toward full licensure. This is the final stretch, and we need to talk about the 2027 rule changes.
There is a massive shift in the law coming for young adults, and you need to be aware of this. Prior to January 1, 2027, if you are 18 or older, you just need to hold your permit for 60 days or pass a state-approved driver education program. Pretty simple, right? But things are changing. On or after January 1, 2027, if you're in that 18 to 20-year-old bracket, the rules get significantly stricter. You must hold your permit for a minimum of 90 days and successfully complete a state-approved driver education program. This is a huge shift in the legal landscape, folks, so if you fall into that age bracket, you're definitely going to want to plan your timeline accordingly.
To wrap up the timeline for our teen drivers, here is your complete roadmap from start to finish. At 15 and a half, you apply and you're eligible for the permit. Then begins your 9-month mandatory holding period. During that time, you have to log 45 hours of supervised driving practice, and get this, 15 of those hours must be after sunset. Once you've done all that and you've completed a state-approved driver's ed program, you finally hit the finish line. At 16 and a quarter, which is 16 years and 3 months old, you can officially receive your full driver's license.
Just a quick heads up before we wrap today. Information is accurate as of the creation date. Verify with local DMV resources for any updates. This explainer is for educational purposes and individual circumstances may vary. As we just saw with those upcoming 2027 updates, DMV rules can and do shift, so always double-check dmv.virginia.gov before you head out. Getting your learner's permit is your first true gateway to independence. With the laws getting stricter for young adults in the coming years, the real question is, are you prepared to put in the hours and take the wheel today, or will you let the new rules leave you stuck in the passenger seat?